good. Coming to you not quite live from Pineda Studios. My name is Sascha Saintevic. With me is Briano Hawk. Briano, chuckling over there. How you doing?
All right.
You got a case of the giggles?
No. You started off all mellow and smooth. You're like, coming to you live.
Smooth jazz.
He's like, what the heck
Coming
is
to you
that?
from Pineda Studios. You know, I got to put on my radio voice, even though we're not technically on the radio.
Yeah.
Put on my SoundCloud voice.
Yeah, your SoundCloud voice. That's
Make
about
it
right.
make it soothing to the masses.
Yep.
Do you think that those voices the DJs put on, that they're usually a complete act?
Yeah. Hey, the thing is moving.
The clock?
Yeah.
Oh, skeleton clock?
Yeah. The skull. It's actually rocking back and forth. Did you hit it?
No, I haven't touched it. It's haunted.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
For those of you who aren't watching this, we got a little, a novelty clock with like skeletons around it, with a little dial that goes back and forth, and it's a skull that hasn't been moving for like the last couple of episodes that we did, and now it's suddenly moving.
Yeah.
When I mentioned smooth jazz,
I think it's just starting to work finally. That's good. I was hoping it would work.
it's the ghost of Miles Davis.
Ghost of Miles Davis.
He heard smooth jazz, and he's like, I gotta get in on this.
Is Miles Davis dead?
Yeah,
Is he?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I am pretty sure.
I'm not a musician like somebody over here.
Yeah. What are you, a poser?
Sure.
You're an audio engineer.
I'm an audio engineer.
How do you differentiate?
Audio engineer.
How do you differentiate between the two?
A video and audio engineer. One does video, one does audio.
No, I mean
They both sit there and be pretentious bastards.
differentiate between the audio engineer and the musician.
One can play, one can't.
Which one do you fall into? Which one's which, first of all?
What do you mean? I can't play very well.
You?
Audio engineers know the sounds are supposed to be coming.
You said, wait a minute, we had a whole episode of you playing.
They're supposed to be, it's one of the worst episodes we had. You know, the audio engineers know the frequencies of things.
Is it?
Musicians just make noise. Yeah.
That's
right.
It comes from the heart.
Sure.
You're telling me, hold on a second. What is with this? I hear a lot of times this self-deprecating view. A lot of musicians, especially musicians who are like, when they're starting out and stuff, like, oh man, I can't play really well, and then I bust out like a whole song.
That has nothing to do with being able to play well and being able to play a song. Anyone can play a song.
Okay, they make music that sounds pretty decent, but they still claim that they can't play really well. Is that just because are you guys just trying to sort of take away that? Hold on. What do you mean?
You're one of them.
Is that just an attempt to like deflame? Take away criticism early on, like preemptively stop it, because that way you can just be like, no, I'm not any good. So everyone's expectations are really low. So when you do play and it sounds decent.
No.
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing.
Nah.
You know what you're doing.
I can't play.
That's not true.
I mean, it's obvious if you listen or see the video where I'm playing and stuff. I don't play well. I'm all over the place. I can't keep a beat. My tuning sucks. I can't sing.
What do you consider?
There's a lot happening. And,
what do you consider to be playing well?
Civil Wars. They play well.
Why?
Jack White.
What about that?
He plays well.
Okay, but specifically, what about that makes it stand out against somebody who you claim can't?
John Mayer. He plays decently.
Okay, what does separate them between someone like?
Because they can actually play.
I guess separating them from James Hetfield.
James Hetfield, he doesn't play.
Okay, he's on the stage playing an instrument.
But he doesn't play.
You don't think he plays well?
No, he doesn't play.
Okay, what differentiates someone like Jack White and James Hetfield?
Here's the difference. James Hetfield just stands there and pretends like he's playing while there's a roadie in the back actually playing the guitar. Jack White, he actually plays. Yeah, he's all over the place with this style, but he plays. All of Metallica are fake. They're like Milli Vanilli. It's just they're able to get away with it.
Are you saying that they're just holograms?
No. They're a bunch of pretentious assholes and douchebags. They can't play a lick. Yeah, I said it.
Well, you say a lot, and I'm trying to pin you down on this, where you tell me what it is that makes. How do you differentiate between somebody who plays well and someone who doesn't? Now, of course, you can tell when there's a sound involved. Mm-hmm. One sounds better than the other, but you seem like you're going to very more fine-tuned argument than just one sounds better than the other, because it is subjective who sounds better and who doesn't. You mentioned some people. Sure. You mentioned the Civil War. Some people might hear them and think, well, their sound sounds really boring to me.
Not necessarily. The sound sounding boring is not being a good musician.
They might say it sounds too simplistic. They don't see it as anything noteworthy, anything better than any coffee shop. Now, that's not my opinion. I'm just saying I can see somebody saying
that. Just means that they're good musicians to make it seem like it's simple. Mm-hmm. It's not simple.
Okay, well, a
good musician will make it seem simple. A not good musician will make it sound complicated. Uh-huh. It is complicated when I play. Therefore, I'm not a good musician.
I don't know, man.
There you go.
I don't.
Simple
I don't
as
buy
that.
that. So
simple
if
as
something
that.
sounds complicated.
You see, James Hetfield tries to make it look and sound complicated. It's because he can't play.
No, that's just because they go on forever.
It's him faking it while the roadie in the back is actually playing it. That's all it is. Because, they're all fakes.
Haven't you ever heard a song that goes into something like it goes into complicated?
Ow!
Just unplug yourself.
You're good.
Haven't you ever heard a song like when what's the song? The Devil Went Down to Georgia. It's complicated.
He can play.
It gets complicated.
He makes it look easy.
Yeah, but it sounds complicated.
But it looks easy.
But to me, doesn't. Maybe to me, it doesn't look easy. To me, I'm like, God damn, that's pretty damn good.
If you ever see him playing, you think, man, that seems a little easy. Because the way he plays. A good musician will make it look easy.
Well, that's true.
A complicated sound, a complicated, track will sound easy with a good musician because they know how to play. They know how to make it look easy. They know how,
almost
to move around.
Hold on a second. Almost any art form looks easy enough when you watch someone do it. You can watch somebody paint a painting, and if they know what they're doing. Oh yeah, sure. They just.
That means they're good.
Hold on. The whole process is you're putting paint onto a canvas.
Yes.
So yeah, it looks easy when you yourself do it. You can't do it, even though what they're actually doing. And I'm speaking from experience here because I actually do paint.
Because you are a decent and great, all-knowing artiste.
Okay, the all-knowing part I'm not too sure of. Here's
whatever.
What's going through
all-knowing because it's not just an art or painting or drawing. It's in this.
Can I get
in this podcast alone? If you listen to the podcast, Sue's the one who knows the knowledge, not the audio engineer and the one who studied music. It's the all-knowing artiste over there who actually knows everything on stuff and gets me to have to research more stuff to understand more. Because I'm not a musician. I don't know nothing. And then boom, you bust it out like this podcast of music. It's not art podcast. It's music podcast. So yeah, that's right, you red-headed bastard.
Do you want me to go on with my analogy, or do you just want me to jump?
Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway,
about your music knowledge that you know everything.
So as I was saying, let's personalize. So when I do a painting,
yes,
the basic steps are always going to look simple to someone that's watching me do it.
Yeah.
Especially in the early stages, I'm putting paint onto a canvas. Mix more paint, put it on a canvas. Paint, canvas. Nothing complicated about that.
Yeah.
What's going through my head, though, is a series of fine-tuned trial and error where I'm trying this paint and that paint, doesn't work out, paint over it, shape,
Hence,
shape this, shadows. It's complicated,
good artist.
but it's more complicated. So you're saying that the simpler stuff is a sign of somebody that's better than somebody who's doing complicated things. However, to get a painting that looks lifelike, there's a lot of complicated strategy and a lot of complicated thinking that's involved.
You see, you're just stating my point. You make it look easy. That means you're good at it.
Okay, well,
someone who is not good at it doesn't make it look easy.
The way you made it sound was that if you're doing stuff that's overly complicated on an instrument, and it even sounds like it's something that sounds
I said it
more
looks
than
easy.
Yeah, it looks easy, but I don't usually see.
I'm not saying it is easy. I'm not saying it sounds easier or whatever.
Okay, well,
it looks
that's the
easy.
point I was
A
trying
good musician, as I've stated more than once already, makes it look easy.
That's the point I was trying to get you to clarify on.
I've already clarified that, though.
Yes, fine. But I usually don't watch people play music. A lot of times I just hear the music itself.
Yes.
So I go off of what the sound sounds like.
Yeah.
And you can tell when something, when there are only two chords involved in something, and you can tell when there's a lot more involved with that. Yes?
No.
Okay, I can.
Oh, well, you're the better musician then. See, there you go. And just proves it again.
Is this
just proved it again.
Is this your trolling episode or something? The April Fool's has already gone by. You got to save it for that. We're like in the middle of August, man. I know they both start with an A. Even though August doesn't sound like it starts with an A.
Yeah. But you just proved my point. You're a better musician. That's why you don't want to blow me away by performing on this podcast. You just want to show me up as usual. That's all that is.
I got to help you build up your self-esteem. I got to help you build up your self-esteem. Yeah, I got to give you something.
Sure.
Give you something to live for.
You even have your own song. You're showing me it off earlier today.
Earlier today?
Yeah, earlier today.
I didn't play jack shit for you today.
Yeah, you're showing it off. You're singing your song.
This is the first I've seen it.
Yeah.
That's the Toten
Your own
Hosen
song.
That's the Toten Hosen. That's not my song. That's just a song with my name in it.
It's your own song. Talking about your neo-Nazi-ish background with your Hitler lineage.
That I gotta. We're very,
I'm jealous.
We're very sensitive about that. You bring up the Nazi stuff. We're very sensitive people about that. We don't appreciate every time. I'm just saying every single time for like the last 6 or 7 decades we've had to listen to that. It's not funny. Like all of us are just raving Nazis.
Yeah.
Wir sind alle Nazisten. Das ist, was du denkst. Für 70 Jahren müssen wir das hören. Brian likes at any moment get me to go into my Hitler rant.
Yes.
By the way, bringing up into that topic,
Hitler was a great artist. Yes,
Hitler was a shitty painter and a worse musician.
He wasn't a
musician
artist.
at all.
Hey, football.
But
I didn't say he was a musician. I said he was a good artist.
That's what I said. And I said he was a shitty painter, and he would have been an even worse musician. But there's a whole music scene surrounded around neo-Nazis, like white supremacists, like hate rock is what it's called. Yeah, it emerged out of the punk scene.
Oh yeah.
It's probably if you hear them, it is an incoherent blend of music where people are mainly just screaming into the microphone.
Well, that sounds about right.
For the hate rock crowd.
Yeah.
And it's funny to watch how music can have that effect where it's uniting all these people. Like a lot of times when we think of music, we think of it like it will unite you for like a better cause. Like, it brings you meaning and community to like zero people. It can also bring meaning and community for people for like the worst messages you can think of. Like you can get people together to agree on the most hateful things you can imagine.
Yeah. That is true.
The power of music, man. I think that's because music doesn't really operate on an intellectual level. It is more emotive, right?
Emotional, yeah. Very emotive.
Yeah.
Smiley face.
That's an emoji.
Smiley face is an emotion.
Well,
That's right.
Are we talking about the Asian characters where it focuses more on the eyes, or the Western characters where it's more about the smile on the emoji? Have you heard that debate? Where it's like you use the Asian characters, it's more like a eye expressive. Western one, it's more mouth expressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, they do the thing in Japanese cultures.
Anime
and all that stuff. No, stick the tongue out and show your eyeball.
Well, no, but I think the reason, because music is such an emotional experience, a lot of times when people try to find some sort of rational theory as to why do we like this, why do we like that, every once in a while, musicologists, scientists, they want to come together and they want to find some sort of common ground. And I'm sure you can find biologically, things that the majority of people enjoy and things majority of people don't enjoy. And you can find some sort of, like, what particular beats, cause distress, which ones cause, more peacefulness. But if you try to figure out, some rational reason why we listen to music in general, you're going to have a hard time coming up with something, because it's not an intellectual experience. You can have music that educates you, but overall, the majority of people are listening to music for pleasure. You can hear somebody say the exact same thing, just in a monotone voice, standing in front of you. But if they sing it, and especially they sing it in a clever voice with a catchy beat that stays in your head, it's a much more pleasurable experience.
Yeah.
So do you think that we came up with music just because it's more pleasant to listen to?
No. But I think music has always really been around. It wasn't came up with, I guess, in a sense.
Well, we started it at some point.
Like I said, I don't think it came up with. It was something that's always around us. It was just the first musician was someone to put those noises together. Because really all music is, at least in my opinion, is a random occurrence of noises put into a, package to become not so random.
But there must have been a point when we started doing that.
But I mean, that's the thing is, when did the first birds start to sing? That's part music.
The birds, that's us.
And that's that's where it comes from, I think.
But that's us partially putting an anthropomorphic spin on it. The birds, from the bird's perspective, they're not singing.
Yeah.
That's just how they communicate.
Yeah.
They're not trying to sing from their perspective. That's just the noises that they make. It sounds like song to us because that's what we identified as.
Yes. That's
the
why
birds aren't singing.
That's why my statement is it's a random occurrence of noises, because look at just the avian cultures and all the birds and stuff. There are tons of birds that have different sounds, different calls, songs in a sense. And then there's those copycat birds who can copy other bird songs and copy what they're hearing in society, which is bad because some of them can make like car alarms and chainsaws, but they think it's musical to enough to attract another mate. So it's sound in general can become something and make music out of it. That's why I said the first people to create music, in a sense, make a song, is pretty much someone who is intellectual enough, I suppose, to grab those sounds and put it into a package that was less sporadic, I guess, or random. And so I think how it goes. I really don't know too much of the background of music, which I should, but I don't.
The problem is that
my favorite thing, it's a joke of it all, but my favorite thing is, which I think would be funny if it actually started like that, is from a Mel Brooks movie. I can't think of it called right now, but the Conquer the World or whatever it was, History of the World Part 1, where the first singers were cavemen. They stubbed their toe and then they just started singing. It's hilarious, and I love it.
No, but that's as good an explanation as anyone we have, because this is like prehistoric times. Like nobody really knows how it began. We can hypothesize why it is, and we can see it's more or less universal.
Yeah,
like just sing it. So it must have been in the earliest days
Yeah.
of the species Homo sapien.
Yeah.
When this whole thing started out, because it would have spread to the difference I think between like the human animal and other ones. We have the option. We don't have to communicate in song.
Yeah.
We don't have to. Now it does obviously have a social benefit.
Yes.
Because bring unity, whatever. Because just what every human tribe does it.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is not.
But
just,
unlike the bird doesn't have a choice not to.
Yeah,
make the noises.
But the thing is also I mean, if you think about it, not just in the birds, but like apes and the closest relatives we have, they communicate with each other by grunts and sounds and knocking and there's so many different things. To tell the gorilla to tell another gorilla is like, hey, get out of my territory. What do? They grunt and they hit their chest, and it's a very thunderous beat that they give. So everything around us is quite musical in that sense. It's just it takes a human, I guess, to say, oh no, well that's music.
To interpret it as such.
That's music.
Because to the other animals, they don't.
Yeah, it's just
we don't know what's really in their head, but they don't. That's just how they.
But they're not. You don't see them walking around with an iPod and I'm throwing my favorite bird call. No, unless they're like a mockingbird or the birds that can do multiple calls.
They put on the iPod?
Sometimes they'll just for the hell of it start doing different noises. And I've seen enough documentaries where they're sitting there bored and they start calling out different things and jumping around and having fun, which is kind of weird, but I think it's funny.
Well, there's pleasure in sounds.
Yeah,
and music is part of that pleasure.
Yeah, like
and
I said.
And if we experience that sort of pleasure, there's no reason to think that other animals wouldn't too. But music is sort of like this, the mystery around like its origin, same as mystery around language. At some point, it began. Human beings didn't always have language. At some point, it began. We just don't know when. And we can hypothesize why. Of course, why. It's easy to communicate when everybody can understand each other. There's some sort of coherency there. Same thing in music. It's easier to emulate the sort of emotions from these random sounds when you put it in some sort of formula. Yeah. But it must have began somewhere. Yeah. And it's probably
that's one thing that it brings up a topic that I've had discussions with other people about and just different things. It's, the first thing we recognize before we're even born is a beat, is music in a sense, but we don't call it music. It's just the beat.
Well, we listen to a heartbeat
it's the
for
heartbeat.
9 months.
Yeah, it's the heartbeat of the mother. And that's what keeps us, sane in a sense, even though we're not technically anything, a fetus or whatever. But that's what, gets the soothingness of a child and stuff like that. That's why, puppies and, any small baby animal or, any baby, they're always calm when they hear a heartbeat because it's something soothing, something they grew up with. And that's music, in that sense. Because if you listen to a heartbeat, it's quite constant unless you're in, doing something, jogging or having sex or whatever.
Having a heart attack
where it actually stops. But it's quite constant. It's something you can listen to it and you can actually get amused by it. I know some musicians who've, did songs around heartbeats, using the beat of a heart and stuff like that. And it's, the heart alone, like just that rhythm, the natural rhythm that we have is something that, is cool in the sense that we grew up with knowing that's the first music that we heard. And that, I think, can go back to before we were even able to talk, like as human beings or, whatever. It's like, which came first? Music, in a sense, and sounds, or, communication, like speaking. Mm-hmm. Hard to say. I would say music because of the fact that the random sounds we learn to communicate back and forth with sounds,
If, again, Sascha, more than likely the very first sounds or communicated sounds that we were trying to make, be it language or be it some sort of chanting, which you would put, broadly speaking, under music, was...
Well, there's Gregorian chants.
Right, but
it wouldn't have thing, but that's just chanting.
It wouldn't have been the first version of that. The first version would have been a lot more simplistic. Would have been a lot, and then over time it would have built up more complexity. That's the very sort of basic Darwinian way anything follows. You start with something easy, something simple. So the first, tools of language in itself would have been very basic. And then over time, it would have developed and evolved into more complicated sentence structures to express more complicated thoughts as we were becoming smarter.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with music. Music probably would have followed, very simple beats and grunts. First of all, you don't have to teach a child, to follow something like that. Usually when they're bored, just watch a 3-year-old sitting on a table. They'll start some sort of a beat.
Just start beating on stuff, start doing whatever. Some of the greatest drummers are 2-year-olds.
And exactly. You watch those kids go nuts, man. You give them 2 spoons, and they'll go nuts. They'll go nuts on those pots and pans. But you know what I mean, and it'll be very simple the first time to do it. Then you watch that kid do it day in, day out. It's going to get more and more complicated sound. The rhythm is going to expand much more.
Yeah.
Now, put that for a whole tribe of people over eons, millennia, hundreds of thousands of years. By the time you get to the finish line, today, not that it's the finish line, we're going to keep going. But you get to the current state, it's going to be a lot more complicated than what it was. And and the initial origins, just like you don't remember the infancy when you first learn how to do.
Yeah.
Or pick that sound up.
Yeah.
We're never going to really know where it started or how it began. We can, there are assumptions about it. Some things seem more plausible than others. And when we say what came first, the musical nature of a species or the linguistic one, it may have evolved around the same time together.
Yeah.
One may have influenced the other.
It probably was exact same time. It came from the same thing. Communication came from probably, chants or grunts and stuff, which is a musical tonality.
And it probably had more of a survivalist
it was more
things to keep the species going.
Yeah, it was more of a chaotic grunting and whatever, than, musical. They're not singing to each other.
It was to warn or to mate.
It's pretty much as you hear calls or whatever, the howler monkey.
Yeah.
The howler monkey. They see danger coming, they howl, and you
alert all the others, and they all run up the trees.
Miles around, and they run up the trees. I think it's something like that. You had someone called the caller, who's what they have the little groundhog things that pop up and look at everything. They do the same thing. They see danger, they scream. Everyone scatters.
It all,
and so I think that's what it is. It's kind of like the same thing. We evolved from that. A warning, grunt or yell. And hey, come here, get over here, sexy. But it's not much of a difference.
And it probably for a long time.
You walk up and hit him over the head with a club, and you drag him.
Drag him back to the cage. And it probably would have stayed that way for a long period of time. It wasn't until we started, developing agriculture and things of that nature, when we had more time to sit down and ponder things. And then we're like, we don't just have to grunt and chant and talk just to warn you or to find a mate or to intimidate the other guy whose mate I want to get. We can also, exchange other sort of ideas. Like, how do you feel today? Because I have more time to sit around. I don't have to go hunt.
Well, agriculture,
all day long. So the development of leisure time during the agricultural age when it came up. Also, you see this, the sudden rise both in communication as well as leisurely activity that would have required music. Yeah, and population. Because man, it's population hard to keep up when you're trying to run away from that mammoth. Every time we go on a hunting expedition, 15 guys go away, 5 guys come back.
Yep.
It's time to start all over.
Yep. But I mean, it's I don't know. It's a very
it's a complicated thing that
it's a very hard subject to go any direction with, because of the fact that music in general, we're talking about communication, which is people think is talking, but music is part of communication.
As I was saying,
I think even now in tribal cultures, they'll sing to each other the history of the tribe, so they know their lineage. It's not, okay, well, this is what happened, your great grandpa. No, they sing a song of the tribe to the child, and that child remembers it that way, and they tell their child, and that's their lineage. That's how they go, their history.
And then it and it slightly changes over time, whether they mean it to or not, just because.
Yeah, it changes for whatever
the language
reason.
changes.
Yes, but I mean that's the thing is even nowadays where there's tribes where you think, oh well, everyone has an iPhone. No, there's still cultures out there who have bones through their nose and run at you with a spear saying, "Who are you?"
But even those cultures have the basic things that make the iPhone what it is, which is
they have their way of communication.
Talking,
their way of communication,
sharing knowledge and ideas,
singing their culture.
Right. And I mean, essentially, the iPhone is just a tool to do that. It's to store information, exchange ideas and knowledge.
Yeah, make you really dumb.
And to distract you from your everyday life.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that just Pokemon Go, which is making people dumber and dumber?
Yeah, I think so.
But no, I agree. Like,
damn Pokemon.
It's unlikely we're gonna unless somebody invents a time machine. We're not really gonna know how it exactly began, and even then, we wouldn't know exactly where the hell to go back.
Yeah,
and even then, we would have to observe it from like a bird's eye view for several centuries, millennia, in order to get a full picture and like speed it up in order to really see how this is going to go.
The way to do it would be like, you take time-lapse cameras, go back into the past, put a camera each, 10, 20 years or whatever for a millennia. And then when you come back, you should have all the footage ready. And then you see what the hell happened. You know what I mean?
And then you're going to be disappointed because it's the same tribe getting stomped by the damn mammoth over and over against the same tribe getting the same stupid plague over and over again.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, people. Pick up your act already.
You have to go all around the world.
And then that one guy
emerges
emerges who suddenly starts singing.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn it, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
And he just stubbed his toe.
He had a rock fall on his toe, and a group of friends just liked his harmony, so they kept going with it.
Yeah, he goes like, woo. Then the other ones go, bum 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 bum. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Dum 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 dum.
Make her the cutest that I've ever seen.
Dum 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 dum.
Give her two lips like roses and clover. Tell her that our lonely nights are over. All right, I think we can stop on that note about time machines and
music.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time. Peanut Studios. Bye bye.
How do you guys see you?